Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk. Back again with you guys for another show, for another episode of our preview series, a show in which we look ahead to the next Arsenal fixture. And thank goodness it comes so soon after the last one. There's no international break to have to be wallowing in our own self-pity about our previous defeat. So thank goodness we've got this game against an Everton side who are very, very much out of form. And I'm pretty sure most Arsenal fans are going into this game hoping and probably expecting little less than just 3 points, which seems like the absolute minimum that we need to get in this game now if we want to keep our top four challenge alive after the results of course, West Ham. Brilliant results there against Chelsea for them. Starting to see those cracks widen in Chelsea's title challenge, which is great in itself, but also seeing West Ham pick up those crucial points there is a little bit of an issue for us moving forwards. We're going to discuss all that and more, as always, with our members from the Discord server. So let's bring them into the show. First of all, it's Vinny. How you doing, mate? Are you well? Are you good?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Yeah, and I agree. A bit bittersweet, West Ham winning, but I'd rather West Ham I'd rather Chelsea drop points than any of the other big three. So, yeah,
it's very true. It's very true. Yeah, seeing the Chelsea fans. I mean, in particular, seeing the Chelsea fans who are praising Mendy and like saying stuff like you can't even put Ramsdale in the same category as Mendy. So to see him put that display on today was extra special. We're also joined by Ojo, who's got a very simple message, which is to drop all of the senior figures from the sides. I'm sure we're going to get into a lot more of that and more with his lineups later. But how you doing, Ojo, mate? Are you good? You well?
It feels like a sense of deja vu. The last time I'm here, we just got battered. This time
I
I'm
think you're doing
back,
this on purpose.
and I look up and Vinny's also there, so the feeling is not so great.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. I mean, I love the fact that you choose to join us. It's nothing to do with fate or chance. It is the targeting of these performances. I can see it happening now. We're also going to be joined by King in a little bit as well. But without further ado, let's crack on with our show. Vinny, tell me kind of how you're feeling in terms of confidence and how much you think that game against Man United is going to play an effect on this fixture.
I think United was gutting. We beat ourselves. They didn't beat us. It was just silly mistakes. But we can set it right quite quickly, which is good. But yeah, I'm quite confident ahead of Everton. But we need to do something up top because the last few games there's just no one up top for us. Oh, you're on mute.
I pressed the button to unmute, and then it came up saying, "Would you like to select a favourite?" I was like, "No, I'd like to unmute myself, please." For some reason, it just messing up my laptop. Ojo, are you on the similar lines with Vinny there? Do you think that it was more of a case of Arsenal again shooting themselves in the foot, or was there more to it? And how do you think it's going to affect Monday's game?
Well, I feel that it's always hard when you're playing a man down. When you have no one up top, it's hard to win
You couldn't
games.
even keep a straight face, could you? You genuinely couldn't keep a straight face. Go on.
But regardless, I felt that we did give a good account of ourselves. Maybe more experience and under different circumstances, and maybe Ronaldo less team, we might have come out of there with 3 points. But we move.
We move indeed. Let's bring in King to the conversation. How you doing, mate? Are you good? Are you well?
Yeah, I'm good. Obviously, I was devastated after the loss against Man United. I really thought that it was a game that we could have won. Another game let down by individual mistakes, but let's hope we can bounce back.
Do you think we will? Have you got confidence that we're going to bounce back in this fixture?
In this fixture, yes. In the long run, not sure.
Yeah, it's a conservative answer, but it's one that I'm sure a lot of people share. Vinny, is that kind of where you're sitting? Do you have the long-term hope, or do you think it was a bit of a reality check?
I think we were really naive against United. I think we went up against them and then we sat back. And I don't understand this sitting deeper as soon as we score. We need to go at teams. If you watch City today, City score and then they just keep going and keep going and keep going. And so do Liverpool. But today, against United, we scored and then we dropped 10 yards back and we stopped pressing them from the front. And I think we were a bit naive as well in that game. I think, obviously, the Odegaard tackle was a really silly decision to slide in the box from behind the player. It doesn't make sense.
No.
And I think Tavares needs to learn from his goal against Liverpool and the goal against United. You can't just tap the ball and go. You've got to be careful and hold your position. Sometimes at times is a little bit naive and leaving gaps in behind.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that it was we saw performances there, didn't we, against United that was showing of the youth that's in this team, the average age of this side. I think that's certainly on show. Ojo, I'm really interested to feed off of something there that Vinny said, because in particular, you look at what's been going on with Arteta and the way in which we look to sit back after scoring. But Arteta in his interviews and on the sidelines, you can see him. He's constantly telling the side to push, to go for it, to push on. And yet what we see is the complete opposite, and that it's kind of this nervousness about Arsenal when they take the lead. Does that, for you, fall on the coach, or does it fall on the players for not, playing the way that he clearly, by the interviews that he gives, wants them to play?
No, that's because we are J. Cole FC. There are no role models in the team. Once you go up, you need someone to lead the team or to drag the team up, to give them the confidence. When you have a striker who is refusing to make runs behind defenders, when he's playing like a vampire, afraid of the cross, keeps coming to the wings, what are you expecting the team to do? How far do you expect the kids to carry the team? If you go through all our goals that are being scored, each goal is either being scored or created by someone who's young enough to be in the Arsenal under 21 team. So that is not just a case of, because I actually believe Arteta's mentality is to attack and be relentless and to suffocate the team. But the players that we put out on the pitch, they feel that once a goal is scored, I think they feel that okay, their job is done, and now that the defense is good enough, they feel that they can just hang back. And the problem is we are not such a great team in the counter attack, which is weird because our goals come in transition. But when we sit back and try to attack, we either get suffocated or we just try to hang on for dear life. And I feel that our strikers, especially, what's heartbreaking is I actually love Aubameyang, and it's not even his performance that broke my heart. It's the fact that he, after the game, immediately goes on to Cristiano Ronaldo's Instagram page and like a groupie is liking his picture. The guy just posted about battering your team. It's like Deontay Wilder coming onto Tyson Fury's Twitter and said, "Thank you for kicking me down." Like you're supposed to be the captain of this team. You're not just a player. You are the captain, and you call yourself the coolest captain. You're supposed to be ice cold in front of the goal. You're useless there. You have not scored a penalty. How many penalties has Aubameyang scored this season? Show me your coolness there on the pitch in front of the goal. When the goal is gaping, you're hitting the post. This is not a drill. You're not playing for what Sidemen FC, is it? So so it actually breaks my heart that his performance I could forgive, but because we did not make a lot of chances. But for what he did after the game, it feels like he doesn't take Arsenal serious anymore. And that is why
Sorry, go on. Carry on, OJ. Go on.
so that is why I feel that then give the chances to the people who do take it seriously, like a Martinelli. Okay, why are we bringing Eddie Nketiah on the pitch? He said he doesn't want to play in the future. This is the future. Kick him out. He should play in the under 23s then. Why, if he doesn't want to play for the club, why is he on the pitch? Like I said, we know we are going to let him go. Give the chance to Balogun. Of maybe the result might not change, but at least we are putting experience in the pockets of players who actually want to be here.
Look, I'm the first to talk about kind of the social aspect of a footballer's life and believe that they should be entitled to have an extra life and on the side of football away from that. And I was a big defender of Benjamin White and his interview when he talked about kind of not necessarily being ingrained in footballing culture. However, I can't disagree with you, Ojo. That really stung when I saw our own captain, because it gives ammunition. So lots of aggregators on social media, like I think it was it Footy Accumulators, I think, that was put the tweet up about Aubameyang saying like Arsenal's own captain, this is Arsenal's own captain sort of thing, liking that post. It is ironic that the average age of this side is what it is, and yet the most immature action from the group has been done by the most experienced player in the team. I think that we talk a lot about experience in the side, but maybe it is experience. I always say is a bit of an overrated factor. For me, it's about how you kind of carry yourself. It's about, any from being 20 years old to 32 years old, you can have a professional mentality that doesn't come through many years in the game. Aubameyang is evidence of that exact fact to the contrary. So it's for me about the kind of character of a player. You look at Kieran Tierney, for example. You look, as you mentioned, Ojo, Martinelli, the character of these guys, the way they carry themselves, the way they want to fight for every single ball and be as professional and as committed to this club as possible and really consider kind of their actions. But that really got... Ojo, I feel like you want to jump in, mate, so go on.
Personally, Tom, I think Aubameyang has fallen out of love with the club.
Yeah.
I think after the contract, after last season and this season, and when he sees that the fans are actually turning on him instead of stepping up to the plate and showing that he is the man, I think he doesn't care anymore. Do you think a person who's been in the game for so long, who knows and how to use social media, does he not know the repercussions of what will happen if you're going onto Cristiano Ronaldo's page after he just slapped you at his home and liking what he did? Of course he does. He doesn't care anymore. I think the weird thing is, going into this January window, I thought the priority was getting a good midfielder to play alongside Thomas Partey. But right now, our priorities have shifted, and the entire club's concentration has now gone to, okay, how many strikers are we going to bring in? Because we are running around like a headless chicken.
King, we're going to come on to a lot of the lineups, but where was kind of your head at regarding where Arteta should now go with the striking situation? Do you kind of commit to Aubameyang and you say you try and play him into form? Because we know that when he's on form, he's lethal. He's one of the best strikers in the world. But right now, and with this social element that we've just been discussing, it's a really difficult kind of situation to manage. So how would you expect and want Arteta to handle it?
Well, first of all, I believe that Aubameyang has declined. Sometimes it happens early to certain players. We've seen it before with Wayne Rooney, Michael Owen, Cesc Fabregas. In their prime, they were maybe top 5 players in the world. But when they started to decline, the decline was so big that nobody caught up with it until it was like over. I mean, Rooney went from Man United to he couldn't even play for Everton to MLS. He didn't even look good in the MLS. That's how bad his decline was. And I see similarities with Aubameyang. I mean, everything that Aubameyang was kind of good and average at, he's now poor. So if you look at his first touch, it's gone from good average to poor. If you look at the way he used to carry the ball, it's gone from okay to poor. His passing has gone from okay to poor. His finishing has gone from one of the best to just average. So in everything that you can measure Aubameyang at, he's declined. And it's not just that the will is not there anymore. For me, it's the quality is not there anymore. You are not out of form for 18 months. You can be out of form for a couple of months. But when we've seen it for so long, for so many games, for me, it's a quality of decline. And I would move on from Aubameyang. I would have him more as a super sub, because reality is no one is buying Aubameyang. He probably doesn't even want to leave because we are paying him over 300 grand a year.
No one's going to pay that. No one's paying that money.
Aubameyang loves the lifestyle in London. He's all about that London lifestyle. You can see it. And his head is probably enjoying life. He was questioned about he didn't win anything. He came in win. They questioned him that he never turned up against big teams. He scored against a big team in the semi-final and final. So for him,
the last 2 games against Man United, to be fair.
Yeah, he probably feel that he's proved his haters, so he has nothing more to prove. But we don't need that mentality. We need hungry players, because we are not good enough as we are on the ball as a team. So we need to be one of the best teams off the ball. Aubameyang doesn't offer us that.
Vinny, I feel like you wanted to jump in a second ago. Go on, mate.
I think the bit that summed it up was you saw Maguire in our box quite a few times getting forward. It shows that they're not scared of dealing with Aubameyang. I play centre half, and if I've got a striker that I'm petrified to play against, I ain't getting forward and being on the edge of the other team's box. But teams are not scared of Aubameyang anymore. And he doesn't chase down and harry the defences. Look at what Martinelli was doing. Every time the ball went out into that corner, he was challenging them in the air. He was chasing them down. Aubameyang weren't chasing down their centre halves, weren't giving them any problems. Doesn't win the ball in the air when the ball's in the air. He's just not working hard enough. And then even when he gets the ball, as King said, everything he's doing has gone from world class a year and a half ago to poor. When he gets the ball now and he gets it out wide, you don't expect him to beat a player, cut inside and score. Whereas in the past, you knew when he was going to shoot, it was going to go in. But now there's just no fear factor with Aubameyang. And when he gets the ball, I'm not even excited because I don't think he's going to score, which is sad because I love the bloke. I love what he's done for the club, but I think he's just faded.
Right. There's a time to say bye to all players. We can love every player at the team, but there is a time to say thanks for the memories. Ojo, very quickly, finish us off on this Aubameyang chat.
It feels like a wake, no? Come to the,
Looks like a wake, yeah.
the end of a
Make sure to
career.
drop a like on this wake, please, guys, in the chat.
I've come in black, just in case, because it feels like we are witnessing the end of a player's career, and maybe he doesn't realize it. The club should realize it, but now we are in another situation where we are stuck with a player where we're paying humongous wages, and the club has to figure out what to do with him. And also one thing I don't understand is why does he keep going out to the wing when the ball is in the wing? What are you going to do there? Stay in the box. You can't cross, you can't dribble, you can't go past a player. Why are you out here? Nobody called you, man. Stay in the box.
I think Arteta's asking him to do that, to be honest.
No, I feel that this is one of those clever ways that players hide on the pitch. It looks like they're doing a lot because you see Aubameyang run to a defender. It feels like he's putting pressure, but as he actually nears the defender, he starts to slow down. You never see him run and try to take the ball out of the defender like Martinelli. Martinelli or the best strikers who are on the front foot, go to a Salah or a Mane. If they're running to a defender, they're going to run and they're going to put a foot in so that the next time the defender knows, okay, if I dally on the ball, this guy is going to come and take. Aubameyang runs for 3 kilometers and comes and stands in front of the defender, waiting for the defender to pass the ball so that someone else could do the hard work of tackling the midfielder or where the ball goes. So these are things that these people, especially Aubameyang, is trying to do to hide. So it feels like a Aubameyang fan would look like, he's running, is working hard on the pitch, but effectively, what are you doing? That question maybe Arteta has to see and this analysis team has to see and say, okay, this guy can't make the team next week. Definitely cannot make the team next week after what he did after the game. But I feel that. But our biggest problem, to play the devil's advocate, is if we drop Aubameyang, where are the goals going to come from?
That's the biggest question, isn't it? And that's I think as we go through our lineups, King, I'm conscious of the time, and I'm going to go to your. I think your lineup might be coming up first, but let me just check because it's where those goals are going to come from. So let's go to the lineups very quickly. I think it is King's team that we've got showing up first. Let me just throw it up on the screen. Why is this not working?
Just very quickly, I think OJ made a very good point, and we had him. Special number 10 in the past, who you can't mention his name. He was the master.
Careful.
He used to look like he was pressing, but he wasn't. So when you check his stats, he would run, but it's
the
a fake
application
press.
of that running, isn't it? Yeah. We do start with King's team. Talk us through it, mate.
Yeah,
Where are the goals going to come from?
so let me explain my team and the reason why I've put Martinelli on the left. If you remember. In his first season when he came through, he had a very good partnership with Tierney, where Tierney will go up front on the left and Martinelli will make a run inside in the central and Tierney will cross the ball and Martinelli will head it or kick it. He was very good at that, and we need Kieran Tierney because he's more balanced than Tavares. And it's not like Kieran Tierney is not good going forward. And he is one of those leaders that you can tell now we've been missing him. when he was in the team, we were more solid as a unit. Now that he hasn't been there, Nuno has done a good job, but Nuno is very raw. And I think with Smith Rowe, I think two things he's developed this season is his second runs is so good. It reminds me of Aaron Ramsey, and his finishing is also better. So I want him more central in the field. I want him to have a free role so he can go in and score goals. And we saw last season when we turned the form, like I said, Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Saka had a good partnership. Let's get that partnership working. Martinelli can score goals. Smith Rowe can score goals. Saka scored last week. Like I said, doesn't score a lot, but he is probably one of our best finishers. You know, if you look at his conversion rate, it's one of the highest in the team, or if not the highest. And for me, I would play Odegaard. If it is one of those teams that we should beat, I would play him in that 8 role. If it is teams where we need to defend more, I would probably put in Ainsley Maitland-Niles to make it more balanced. But for this game, I would go with this 11.
Stuff. Let's go on to Ojo's. Yes, Ojo's team. Talk me through this false 9-11, mate.
Let me just check whether you got my players
Yeah,
right.
it's all there, mate. It's all there. Don't you worry.
Yes, Tom, I feel that going forward, maybe in 6 months, this is the team that is going to be in Arsenal. Aubameyang is not giving us anything. Like I said, is going to leave, and Ketia is going to leave. I feel that we might as well go on with what we are going to see in the future and give people minutes. Martinelli, I know that he's not maybe well versed in holding up the ball, but I know that he's going to get into the box every time we are going to put a cross. And one of the main reasons why I did not put Lacazette there is because I know for all the good work that Lacazette does in dropping and helping with the midfield and harassing players, the problem is when we need to cross the ball and Lacazette is never inside the penalty area. This is something, especially Martinelli's movement when he scored, I think against Watford, right? When Tomiyasu scored, and the way he peeled off the defender, all of that is something that I'm not seeing from our senior players. And okay, and the way you placed my team, I would have put Lokonga in the middle and maybe Odegaard on the left. But you always have to mess up my team one way or the other.
Goodness me.
And even Odegaard, I think for the mistake that he made, I would have dropped him. But we have no other option, so I don't want to say El Neni play again. And the way he actually had a good game, except for when he lost his head. I thought this guy was supposed to be Norwegian or Viking. You're supposed to take heads, not lose your own head in the game. But it is what it is. We move on. And Partey had a bad game as well, but he was the one who actually passed it to Martinelli. So I feel that maybe you get a good, and one of the, I think we need to set our expectations right with Partey, because we have this illusion that he was the controller in the Atletico midfield, but he had players like Koke and Gabby playing with him, who set the tempo, and Partey was playing on the tempo that they set. So we us expecting him to set the tempo in the Arsenal team, maybe something beyond his capabilities. So this team, I feel that ESR, Martinelli, and Saka, all three of them have goals or some kind of creativity in them. And I picked this team simply because I want to show the senior players or a player like Aubameyang or something saying, see, we are moving without you. Either you pattern up or you're not going to see the first team again.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And lastly, let's go through Vinny's team.
So I actually had the same team as OJ, but I read today that Emile Smith-Rowe might not be fit. So I've changed him.
A late fitness test is what we're aware at the moment.
Because if Emile Smith-Rowe's fit, I would have him on the left and I'd have Martinelli up front. I think Martinelli would lead the line a hell of a lot better than Oba's been leading the line. I think he works really hard. His runs are really good. And I think he'd give us something up top. And he's good in the air as well. So if you cross the ball, he'd be solid in the air. But I don't think Emile Smith-Rowe is going to be fit. So I've gone with Lacazette up front. I think it's hard to judge Lacazette on the goals he scored this season because he's been playing a different role. And I think he's been coming a lot deeper and he's been working hard for the team. So if he's going to play up top, he needs to lead the line. And if you give a Lacazette chances, he puts them in the goal. I have 100% faith in his finishing ability. So this is what I'd go with. Again, we're in the middle, Odegaard in front of Lokonga and Partey, just to give us a solid base. But yeah, no, I'm happy with that team. And
Solid stuff.
Tierney obviously back in Tavares, because Tierney's our best left back and he needs to start playing. And I think for as good as Tavares has been, he's been superb. I think he still makes some naive decisions, which has costed us in the big games.
Yeah, I think all of us have actually gone for Tierney in this game, so that tells the story in itself. Let's go for my team. Now, I'm really banging the Balogun drum, I'll tell you. I am solidly behind Balogun being integrated into the first team because he is and has been electric for the under 23s. Like if you watch the games, and I'm sure plenty of you have been able to, because a lot of them have been able to stream, and you've probably seen a lot of the highlights. He's too good for that division, so far above that level. And I know that there was an immediate response. I put a tweet out about this yesterday that I would be bringing Balogun into the team, and the response usually in kind of the other side of things is to say, well, look what happened when he started against Brentford. And I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair to look back at that Brentford game as a sole example when we had none. Like I think we had 50% of the players that are currently in the lineup at the moment. It's a different side altogether. He came in the first game where we had 3 of our main strikers, 2.5 of the main strikers out because of illness and injury. So I don't think that's a fair representation. And he barely got any service in that game as well. I think he had one chance, which he was just a little bit of a poor touch in the box, where he could have done a bit better. But besides that, you can't look at the Brentford game. He has been brilliant, not just for Arsenal's youth team, but he was in his first start for the England under-21s. He scored as well. Really good finish across the keeper into the bottom left-hand corner. Could have done with that if he was in the same position Aubameyang was when he was faced with that shot on the right-hand side. Balogun, for me, should be integrated. I think this is fanciful. I don't expect it to happen, but in my opinion, it should be something that we start to consider. And who knows, maybe he doesn't end up going on loan in January because he can get into the first team. Martinelli, as I agree with the guys, he just picks himself. He is the energy and the bright spark that we need. Maybe a surprise for people is me putting Partey in there, because obviously I wrote a story about Partey being maybe the next person to be dropped. I've stuck with him because I just feel like that he still is, on raw quality, our best central midfielder on paper. And if you can get the best from him, then maybe he is worth sticking by just for the moment. I might again be proven wrong, like I was with Aubameyang against Manchester United. I just feel like to throw Ainsley Maitland-Niles in might be a little bit too much of a risk. Interestingly, and something that we haven't touched upon, was in the press conference today with Mikel Arteta, some really interesting comments about Granit Xhaka's fitness, and also that he could return. I mean, there was even discussions about him being and travelling on Monday, which I don't think will happen. But him being back in the squads may not be the most exciting thing for Ojo, as I can see from his reaction. But look, I think that what's important is that you know what you'll get from Granit Xhaka. Yes, there'll be the odd mistake, but he's better than Maitland-Niles. He's better than El Neni. And if we're falling back on those players because, say, Partey's not being good enough, then I'd rather it was Granit Xhaka than either of El Neni or Maitland-Niles. Go on, Vinny.
But that's where we need to utilise Xhaka properly. For me, Partey should be our defensive midfielder who mops it up and then gives Xhaka the ball, and Xhaka plays it out. He's our best passer of the ball in our midfield by far.
Xhaka's exposed when he's left in that 6 role. He's absolutely exposed. Yeah. He does his best work playing more freer. And I think when you look at Switzerland, he's either got Zakaria or he's got Freuler next to him. And that kind of gives him that license to be more expressive of his passing. And I think that's why you see a different Xhaka for Switzerland than you do for us.
Well, then you won't see him so deep and having to turn, being played on the edge of the box. That's not where Xhaka should be. Xhaka should be further up the field and distributing the ball out. And the one thing that he will do is give us defensive cover of the left-hand side when we bomb on, because he's always tucked into the left. And if you saw Tavares bombing it forward or Tierney bombing it forward, he can cover in behind. And we haven't got a big gap there.
Let's go to predictions, people. King, we're going to start with you, mate. Give me any last words, of course, and your prediction.
Yeah, I wanted to put a few words on Martin Odegaard. I just want to address a few things. I think a lot of football fans, I'm not questioning their ability of understanding of football, but I just feel like
I do that on a daily basis.
I feel sometimes a player like Odegaard, because he's not a tangible number 10, what I mean by that is that he's not a fancy dribbler. He's not going to dribble past 3 people and not make a people. He's not a goal-scoring number 10, so he's not going to score goals like a Bruno Fernandes. He's a number 10 who has the vision. And because he won't give you lots of goals, lots of assists, lots of dribbling and flair play, many fans think that he's not good enough. And for me, that's wrong. I think that Martin Odegaard is a quality player. People forget that he's 23 years old. The Premier League is not easy to come from Spain to Premier League. It takes time. Look at someone like Rodri. Last year, people were saying that he's too slow. He's not good enough. He can't do
Pablo Fornals is another one.
Pablo Fornals is another one. Like, it takes time. Even Jack Grealish, it takes time. When you come to a new team, a new system, a new league, he will come good. He is our best passer. We do not have a player who's better on the ball as a passer than Martin Odegaard. So to say that he's like dog shit, he's not good enough, it's lies. It's pure lies. It's just an agenda. Like, I'm not Arteta's biggest fans anywhere near, but I can see that he's a footballer. You don't do what he's done in his past, both in national side and club side, if you can't play football.
And very quickly, I know you want to jump in on this. I just need, we are conscious of time. Just a couple of words. I know you want to jump in. Go on, mate.
He doesn't have movement in front of him either. And Odegaard is a player that thrives on movement in front of him. And you look at the way we're playing at the moment, there's no one in the box at times. So who's he going to pick the pass through? But I agree with King. I think Odegaard's a hell of a player. And he's that player who makes the pass before the pass sometimes and opens the game up.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I think I can't emphasize your words enough. And King, I'll even forgive you swearing because you were talking about Odegaard so brilliantly. When it comes down to this game and the kind of the scoreline that we can predict, Everton, I think, are winless in 8 or something like that. They're in really, really awkward form. But I think this, again, like after Anfield, going into the Newcastle game, was an opportunity to see if this Arsenal side have got the character to respond. So I am really intrigued by the scorelines that you're going to go for. King, I will go back to you, mate. What are you going to go with?
I'll go 2-0 Arsenal. Let's
Who's
do
going to
this
score?
guy. Martinelli is going to score. And I think he scored 2 goals.
Sounds. Yeah. Ojo.
I think I'm just going to agree with King in everything he said. 2-0 to the Arsenal. Aaron Ramsdale and Bernd Leno to score.
Oh, this Ramsdale thing's got to stop, bro. It's going to become the new Coquelin prediction. That's what it's going to do. Dear me. I'm going to let him stick with it. It's fine. Vinny, finish us off, mate.
I'm 2-0 as well. And Gabby and Odegaard to get us a goal.
That's it. We're losing this game.
Oh, no. Let's go for a full house. I'll go for 2-0 as well. And we'll go with Martinelli absolutely on the score sheet. And, maybe Nicolas Pepe will come off the bench and score one. That'll be a turn up for the books. That'll be quite nice. I mean, as I say, I love being proven wrong if it's for the benefit of the club always. So let's go for a Martinelli goal and a Pepe strike from the bench. That'd be great to see. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Just let me shout through a couple of these. I'm very conscious I've got to shoot out. Steve Stone going for 2-1 Arsenal. Mikey saying 2-0 Arsenal. Greg saying 3-1 Arsenal. Trey saying 1-1. Chris Moss says 3-1 to the Arsenal. Saka, Lacquer, Abatova, and Gray. Blue nose. What's that mean? I have no idea what that even means. Are they cold?
I think it's Demari Gray, right?
It's Damari Gray. But I don't know who the blue nose is. I've never heard of that before. No idea. I really hope it's not dodgy, Chris Moss. I'm going to be watching you if it is. ML Reaction says 2-0 to the Arsenal. Sam says 4-1. Come on, you Gooners. Let's go for... I can't find any more. Paul says 1-0. We need to win, but because we struggle to score, it's just going to be a 1-0. And that'll finish off today's show. King, thank you so much, mate, for coming on. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me on. It was a great show, as always. It's always nice to be here.
Absolutely. Vinny, always a pleasure, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I enjoyed it again and loved the Christmas jumper, King.
Oh, hold on. Is Ojo not got one? It looks quite Christmassy. Is it not, Ojo?
No, it's just
It looks like a
funeral wear.
tactical Christmas jumper. I love it, mate. Thanks so much for coming on, fella.
Yes, Tom. And just before we leave, question to King: should Odegaard, is he the right number 10 for our team? I know he has very good qualities, but I feel that when you put him in the hole behind the striker, he tends to get suffocated. Maybe he should drop into the midfield where he might have a little more space. But this is just a point to think about. I think Tom has other things to go
I'll
and
answer
do.
that in the group chat.
Oh,
Sure.
there you go. There
And
you go.
yes, people, join the Discord. Tom has a wedding coming up, so we need to contribute.
I mean, sure thing. It's always a good plug. If you do want to join the boys in the Discord server, you can. Link is in the description to the membership. And of course, you get the chance to come on the show as well. Drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed yourself. And even if you haven't, please still continue to do that. And of course, do subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. I'll be back tomorrow with the 8 a.m. show. Sorry there was none this morning. I was in London last night, so I wasn't able to put one together. But we will be back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Yes, Vinny, lots of that. I'm feeling it today. Anyway, have a good one, people, and I'll see you again very, very soon. And as always, up the Arsenal.